But we had a mutual respect, and I really had a mutual love for this man, because I could not believe this very complex individual. Because when we had a few drinks, he started telling me stories. He loved to talk about the old days. And he would talk a lot about my father-in-law, Vito Musso, who was a saxophone player with Tommy Dorsey, and they roomed together. And he was very close to him. So we had a great compatibility, you know. And we had our outs, we had our ins, we had our outs, you know. But now that he's gone, I got to tell you, many people die, but this is one life that anybody that was touched by Frank will never forget it.
Back in the 70s, I had the pleasure of working with the chairman of the board on a movie that defined his town, his kind of town. Actually, one of the most nerve-wracking parts I've ever played, under the gaze of someone who doesn't tolerate anything less than going all the way. Unlike Prokofiev or Tchaikovsky, where you can dig into it and try to keep the muscles limber. Just playing the simplicity of this part was actually nerve-wracking. It goes like this. Can get actually rather tense when working with Old Blue Eyes. And then in the 80s, we did a project produced by Q called LA is My Lady. Sinatra had worked with Quincy over decades of time and been with him during the jazz era of the 50s, with big bands that were coming out of the 40s, and Quincy originally was a trombone player. And then when Quincy moved to Europe, he was a record executive in France and the Netherlands, and I know that he worked with Sinatra on the tours during those early 60s. I had the pleasure of working under Quincy's tutelage in the late 60s when I was the teen prodigy, doing jazz in the Bill Evans and Oscar Peterson mode. Mid-80s, we did this album with Sinatra doing duets and doing a bunch of contemporary material, and the hit out of that album was LA is My Lady. So I had the pleasure of actually covering both coasts. I guess I was bi-coastal with Old Blue Eyes.